Hello, and welcome to Highway, which this week comes from Bishop Stortford. Something I noticed straight away about the town was the number of schools. And of course, where you have schools, you have young people.
Sing out loud, sing out strong, sing of good things, not bad, sing of happy, not sad, sing a song, make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry if it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Sing a song.
You've got to sing a song, sing out loud, sing a
Sing a song, make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry if it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Sing a song.
The lads and some of the girls of Bishop Stortford College. Bishop Stortford is one of those East Anglian towns which mixes the medieval and the modern in partnership. It's not always a comfortable partnership, if only because some of the older Stortfordians have had to face up to some rapid changes. There was once a time when the vicar of Stortford decided that he didn't wish to live in the vicarage, but preferred instead this rather grander residence on the outskirts of town. That man was the father of Cecil Rhodes, Stortford's most famous citizen, the man who founded Rhodesia. The vicarage, meanwhile, which nestles protected by the great spire of St. Michael's Church, was turned into a school, the foundation of a great tradition of education in Bishop Stortford. Now, 130 years later, things are back to normal. The present vicar is Canon John Richardson. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Nice to
Lovely
see you.
to see you.
And you. Now, obviously the church dominates the town physically, but does it dominate the town spiritually as well?
Well, I think it does in a way. If you look at that huge, great building up there, it's been there for 500 years. It's massive and it's got a huge, great tower and spire. And it was built by people who said, really, God is important in this place. And perhaps we don't notice it at the moment because we're too busy and there are other buildings. But 500 years ago, the old medieval ploughman would look at it and say, there's St. Michael's, and it's important. And you see its great big tower, and that stands for me for God present among his people and the eternal values which I think are all important. I see my job as trying, as a parish priest, to proclaim the things of God, which I believe are important, but also to be part of a family and to help build a family where love and affirming and hope can be found. And I think if you came into the church, you'd be surprised how lively it is.
I'm sure I would. And of course, the church and the schools, the education, that's a tie-up there too here, isn't there?
That's
Bishop
right.
Stortford.
Bishop Stortford seems to be full of children, and when I moved here 18 months ago, I thought there were nothing but children in schools, and it so happens in our congregation, as in many other congregations, there are lots and lots of children. This is the way we say our prayers, say our prayers, say our prayers. This is the way we say our prayers.
So it is that every Wednesday morning at 10:30, a throng of mums and their toddlers come to St Michael's for their very own church service. John Richardson told me he considers that the family is at the very root of Christianity, and that the church is, in its own way, the family home. Maybe that's why they keep streaming in.
This is the way we say our prayers, say our prayers, say our prayers. This is the way we say our prayers, the Wednesday evening of heaven's love. Stop. Now then, is there anybody first who wants to say thank you for the birth of a new baby?
You
Right,
baby?
no, Katrina, I don't think so. Right, let's start to sing the songs.
Alright, now we're going to sing The Wise Man. You all need 2 fists. You got 2 fists?
The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock, and the rain came tumbling down. And the rain came down, and the floods went whoosh. The rain came down, and the floods went whoosh. The rain came down, and the floods went whoosh. And the house on the rock stood firm.
And the house on the rock stood firm. It's very easy to dismiss children's songs, but what John Richardson was doing was to build the foundations of these children's lives upon rock, so the houses will stand firm for many years.
And the rain came down, and the floods went whoosh. The rain came down, and the floods went whoosh. The rain came down, and the floods went whoosh. And the house on the sand fell.
A lot of young families have come to Bishop Stortford in recent years. As a town, it has much to offer. It's barely an hour's travel from the centre of London, and yet still retains the feeling of a small country town. You can see the way in which it's expanded by working out when the various houses on the outskirts were built. Maybe the schools have had something to do with it as well. There are plenty to choose from, and that's a privilege parents should always enjoy. I visited St Michael's Primary School, where Bert Bayford is the headmaster. Bert, as the headmaster of a diocesan school, do you feel you have a religious obligation towards the pupils?
Oh yes, we do, Harry. We have very close links with St Michael's Church. We were founded something like 150 years ago, in the early 19th century, by the church and a group of parishioners for the education of all the children in the parish. And since that time, over those years, we've had very close links with the church. The vicar, John Richardson, is chairman of our governors, and he comes to school each week to take assemblies. A lot of our children probably had their first experience of worship and going to church at St Michael's Tiny Tots. I think parents choose a church school for, well, many reasons, a variety of reasons. Some because it is a church school, and I think others that probably doesn't apply. But one thing I think they all expect is that we will reinforce the moral teaching that they give their children at home. Because I think the home, the family, is the greatest influence on the way a child develops, the way their character and their attitudes develop. But we can reinforce that. If you think that moral teaching and religious education are very closely linked, because morals are about right and wrong, the way we treat each other. And religious education is about relationships, our relationships one with another, love thy neighbour, our relationships with God, and our relationships with the whole of God's creation. So yes, I think religion and moral teaching have a very important part to play in our children's education.
Thanks very much, Bert. Now, let's take a look at the school, shall we?
Let's do that.
In the classroom, I felt it was good to know that the children were working to an overall plan conceived by a headmaster as thoughtful as Bert Bayford. I also discovered, to my surprise, that they had a visitor for the day, Helen Shapiro. Helen, how's he been through here?
Why, Harry! Hi.
Do you feel nostalgic about coming back to school?
Well, not really, but it's nice to see the kids and it's nice to see all the lovely paintings they do.
It is, isn't it? Ever fancy yourself as a teacher?
No, not really, except maybe if there were any budding pop singers here, maybe I could teach them to sing. Yeah, I like that. There's a song I hear, let the world sing today, a song of peace that echoes on and never goes away. I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love, grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once all standing hand in hand and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. There's a song I hear, let the world sing today, a song of peace that echoes on and never goes away. So put your hand in my hand, let's begin today. Put your hand in my hand, help me find the way. Put your hand in my hand, let's begin today. Put your hand in my hand, help me find the way.
I'm going to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony.
School kids come in all shapes and sizes, and Bishop Stortford High School takes boys up to A-level. It's a school with a fine reputation, and Andrew Thompson is in his third year in the upper school. His mum has worked there for some years as a school secretary. Together they form just one half of a rather special family I had the good fortune to meet in what you might think were perfectly ordinary circumstances. I've been invited to supper with the Thompson family. Nothing remarkable about that, you might think. But it's quite a privilege because this meal is a little ceremony which takes place every day of their lives. That's right, isn't it, Rosemary?
Yes, I think we've done it almost, when the children were quite small. Sort of Dad comes in